Money is a tool, not a trophy, and that lesson alone changes the way you look at your entire financial life. Too many people chase money just to show it off, as if the number in their bank account or the brand on their clothes is the end goal. They see money as a way to measure their worth, to prove something to other people, or to put themselves on a pedestal. But when you treat money like a trophy, you'll always feel empty because there will always be someone with a bigger one. The truth is, money on its own doesn't mean much. It's what you do with it that counts. When you start looking at money as a tool, you stop playing the comparison game and start building a life that actually gives you freedom, security, and choices. The problem with treating money like a trophy is that it traps you in a cycle of consumption. You earn it, you spend it on something flashy, you show it off, and then it's gone. There's no growth, no strategy, no plan, just a short burst of validation followed by another chase. This is why so many people can earn a lot but still end up broke. They're so busy using money to prove themselves that they forget to use it to improve themselves. They forget that money can buy time, reduce stress, create stability, and open doors to opportunities they couldn't reach otherwise. When you shift your mindset and see money as a tool, you realize it's not about the stuff you can buy, but the leverage it gives you. Money can pay off debt and free you from financial stress. It can build an emergency fund that keeps you calm in a crisis. It can buy investments that grow while you sleep, creating wealth that works for you instead of relying solely on your labor. It can fund education, start a business, or support causes that matter to you. Each dollar becomes a worker in your financial army, and the more you send out to work, the stronger you become. Seeing money as a tool also changes how you value your time. Instead of wasting money on things that lose value, you start using it to buy back your time. Maybe that means outsourcing chores that drain you, investing in systems that make your work more efficient, or simply having enough financial cushion to take a break when you need it. Time is the real trophy. Money is just the tool to get it. The wealthy understand this. They don't use money to impress. They use it to design a life where they have control over their days. Another powerful part of this lesson is that it takes the pressure off constant comparison. If you see money as a tool, you stop caring about whether you have more or less than someone else. You focus on whether your money is doing its job, helping you build security, freedom, and opportunity. Someone else might drive a car that costs 3 times what yours does, but if that car is a financial burden while your money is working in investments, you're actually miles ahead. The trophy mindset makes people compete. The tool mindset makes people build. It also helps you stay disciplined. If money is just a trophy, it feels good to waste it because the short-term reward is the recognition or the feeling of success. But if money is a tool, you don't waste it any more than you'd waste a hammer or a drill. You use it carefully, intentionally, and with purpose because you know it has a job to do. That shift in thinking transforms your spending habits. You don't just ask, "Can I afford this?" You ask, "Is this the best use of my tool?" That single question creates clarity and stops you from making financial mistakes that slow down your progress. Understanding that money is a tool, not a trophy, gives you long-term vision. It makes you think about what your money can build in 5, 10, or 20 years, not just how it makes you look today. At 48, it turns money from something shallow into something meaningful. And once you learn to use it that way, you'll realize the people chasing trophies aren't as rich as they look, and the people quietly using money as a tool are building the kind of wealth that lasts. Debt is a wealth killer, and the sooner you realize it, the faster you can take control of your financial future. Most people don't see debt for what it truly is because it's been normalized. Credit cards, personal loans, car financing, and buy now pay later schemes are sold as conveniences, as tools to live better today. But the reality is that debt is a silent tax on your future. It drains your money steals your freedom, and keeps you trapped in a cycle where no matter how much you earn, it feels like it's never enough. Every payment you make to interest is money that could have been working for you, growing for you, or giving you freedom, but instead it's going out the door to enrich someone else. Debt doesn't just affect your finances, it affects your life. When you carry high interest debt, your options are limited. You might have the same salary as someone else, but your income is already partially claimed by your creditors. That means you can't invest, you can't save as much, and you can't take risks because part of your money is already spoken for. Debt restricts choice, and freedom is the foundation of building real wealth. The people who are financially free understand this, and that's why they avoid unnecessary debt at all costs. They know that every loan, every credit card balance, and every deferred payment comes with a hidden price tag that can weigh you down for years. High interest debt is particularly destructive because it compounds against you. If you only make minimum payments, your balance barely goes down. Interest keeps stacking, sometimes faster than you can pay it off, and before you know it, a small purchase has turned into a mountain you can't move. This is why so many people work hard, earn well, and yet feel like they're stuck financially. They're not broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because the system is feeding on their borrowed money while they wait to see any progress. The debt kills wealth before it has a chance to grow, and it can take years, even decades, to recover. Debt also keeps people living in the moment, thinking short term instead of long term. When you're paying interest on what you bought yesterday, you're forced to focus on survival and immediate payments rather than building wealth for the future. You might make sacrifices now, but it's often reactive, reacting to bills, minimum payments, and late fees, rather than proactive, using your money to grow, invest, and plan for freedom. Wealth is built on foresight, strategy, and compounding, but debt shifts your energy to paying off what has already been consumed. 8. It's the ultimate thief of both money and opportunity. The psychological impact of debt is just as damaging as the financial one. People under heavy debt live with stress, anxiety, and a constant feeling of being behind. They compare themselves to others, thinking they're not doing enough, when in reality, their money is tied up servicing the debt. That stress affects relationships, decision-making, and even health. When you break free from debt, you don't just improve your financial situation, you reclaim your mental and emotional freedom. You start making choices based on opportunity and growth rather than fear and obligation. Getting rid of debt requires discipline and focus. It's not glamorous and it takes sacrifice, but it's the gateway to building real wealth. Paying off debt, avoiding unnecessary borrowing. The 48 and refusing to live beyond your means are the foundational steps that allow money to start working for you instead of against you. Once you remove the chains of debt, your income no longer disappears into interest payments. It can go to investments, savings, and opportunities that compound over time. Debt kills wealth silently, gradually, and consistently. It may seem like a convenience in the short term, but in the long term, it destroys the very financial freedom people are chasing. Recognizing it for what it is, attacking it aggressively, and refusing to let it control your life is one of the most transformative lessons anyone can learn. Invest early, invest often, and you will see just how powerful time is when it comes to building real wealth. Most people think investing is something you do once you have no money or once your finances are perfect. That's a lie that keeps people waiting while the years slip by. The truth is, the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow, and the more consistent you are, the more unstoppable the results become. Investing isn't about timing the market perfectly or finding some secret shortcut. It's about harnessing the power of compounding over time and letting your money do the heavy lifting for you. When you start early, even small amounts make a huge difference. A few $100s invested consistently in your 20s can grow into tens or even hundreds of thousands by the time you reach retirement, simply because the returns start generating returns of their own. 48. The magic isn't in the money you put in, it's in the way that money grows over time when it's left to work. People who wait until they feel ready are often years behind, and even if they invest larger amounts later, they're still missing out on the exponential growth that early action provides. Time is the most valuable tool an investor has, and starting early is how you use it to your advantage. Investing often is just as important as starting early. It doesn't matter how much you invest if you only do it once or sporadically. Regular, consistent investing builds habits, reduces the emotional roller coaster of market ups and downs, and maximizes the benefit of dollar cost averaging. When you invest often, 8, you buy more shares when prices are low and fewer when prices are high, which smooths out volatility and keeps your portfolio growing steadily. The people who succeed in investing aren't the ones trying to guess the market. They're the ones showing up every month, investing systematically, and letting time do the rest. Another critical part of investing early and often is the mindset it builds. When you commit to consistent investing, you stop thinking about money as something to spend or worry about. You start thinking about money as a tool for growth. You understand the difference between short-term fluctuations and long-term progress. You learn patience, discipline, and the confidence to let compounding work its magic. That mindset alone is worth more than any specific investment because it shapes your financial decisions for life. People who start late often chase trends or take unnecessary risks because they're trying to catch up. Those who start early, consistently, and wisely get to watch their wealth build without the panic or stress. Investing early also protects you against inflation. Money sitting in a savings account loses value over time because prices rise and your purchasing power decreases. When you invest, your money has the potential to grow faster than inflation, which means you're actually increasing your real wealth over time instead of just holding on to it. That's why investing is not just a tool for growth, it's a tool for survival in the modern economy. Without it, even people who earn well can find themselves falling behind as the cost of living rises. Finally, investing early and often teaches a profound lesson about responsibility and control. You realize that your financial future is in your hands, not dependent on luck, inheritance, or some outside force. You start to see the connection between your decisions today and your outcomes years down the road. Every investment, every contribution, every decision compounds, not just financially, but in the way you think, plan, and execute in life. It's not about becoming rich overnight. It's about creating consistent, sustainable growth that builds freedom, opportunity, and security. Starting early and investing often is the single most effective way to build wealth, gain freedom, and take control of your financial future. Those who embrace this lesson don't just earn money, they let their money earn for them. And over time, that's what transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Cash flow is king, and understanding this principle is one of the most powerful lessons you can learn about personal finance. Too many people focus only on how much they earn. 8, thinking a high income automatically means wealth. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how much money comes in if it all goes out as fast as it arrives. You can make 6 figures a year and still feel broke if your spending is higher than your income, or if you're trapped paying interest on debt. Cash flow is the lifeblood of your financial health. It's the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and building lasting wealth. The first thing to understand about cash flow is that it's about control. It's about knowing exactly how much money is coming in, how much is going out, and where it's going. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They see their paycheck, pay some bills, swipe their card for groceries, and hope they have something left over at the end of the month. That kind of randomness creates stress, uncertainty, and missed opportunities. When you track cash flow, you take control of the system. You know where every dollar is going and can make intentional decisions about how it's used. Good cash flow gives you freedom. If you're bringing in more than you're spending, you have options. You can pay off debt faster, save for emergencies, invest for the future, or even take risks like starting a business. Positive cash flow doesn't just give you financial flexibility, it gives you life flexibility. It allows you to make choices based on opportunity, not desperation. That's why people with strong cash flow rarely panic when an unexpected expense comes up. They've already built the cushion and the systems to handle it. Another key aspect of cash flow is its role in growth. Money that sits idle doesn't work for you. But money flowing in excess of your expenses can be directed into investments, savings, or business opportunities. That's how wealth is built. People often focus on income, thinking that earning more is the solution, but without proper cash flow management, higher income often just leads to higher spending. Cash flow management ensures that more of what you earn is put to work rather than slipping through your fingers. Cash flow also exposes financial weaknesses. When you carefully track what comes in and what goes out, patterns emerge. You notice where you're overspending, where waste occurs, and where leaks are holding you back. Most people don't see these gaps because they never track. Once you identify them, you can fix them, redirecting money toward growth instead of letting it disappear unnoticed. That awareness is critical for building wealth, because small, consistent changes in cash flow compound over time, just like investments do. The mindset shift that comes from understanding cash flow is huge. Instead of obsessing over income alone, you start to focus on efficiency and leverage. You start asking questions like, is this purchase going to help me grow or just maintain my lifestyle? Am I letting my money work for me or for someone else? That mindset is what separates people who stay stuck financially from those who build real security and freedom. Cash flow management isn't glamorous. It doesn't get likes or applause, but it's the engine that powers wealth. Finally, cash flow is king because it protects you from uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies happen, opportunities arise, and markets fluctuate. Strong cash flow gives you resilience. It allows you to adapt, to act, and to take advantage of opportunities without stress. Without positive cash flow, you're always reactive, living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, constantly chasing stability. With cash flow in your control, you're proactive, deliberate, and positioned to build a life of abundance. Cash flow isn't just about money, it's about freedom, security, and the ability to create the life you want. Master it, and you're no longer at the mercy of circumstances or creditors. Ignore it, and no matter how much you earn, you'll struggle. Understanding that cash flow is king is one of the most important personal finance lessons you can ever learn, and once you do, it changes everything.